All right, good day and welcome back to Mobile Tech Expo. We are live every day. I tell you, it has been an amazing experience. And of course, we're going to end the day with some amazing, just leaders of the pack joining us, Megan Pourier. And of course, you guys know Justin Labato. He's everywhere. And of course, you got my guest, my
Yeah,
partner.
and I have to follow that. And then there's Rod.
And then there's Rod. So no, so it's been absolutely amazing 2 days. I mean, I was talking to Rod and actually Juan yesterday about how impactful this Mobile Tech Expo, and I actually counted all of the education days, and there's over 80. That is huge investment of people's time and energies to help you and me grow our businesses. And I'm really just amazed, by the turnout and the opportunity that this event inspires for people. So we're really excited. Autogeek is doing some pretty amazing things by bringing Justin Labato. He's
The
got
new,
huge shoes to fill, following Mike Phillips. And so I wanted to ask you, you're the chief of operations, you're the lady in charge. How did you come to that decision?
On Justin.
Yeah.
Actually, I think our little hidden secret is about 2018. I said to
Pull a
him,
little closer.
"We'd really love to get you in the garage with us." I love him. I feel like he's got a really good head on his shoulder. You know, there's a lot of guys in this industry that once they get to his level, the ego takes over a little bit, but he still has that. I want to help people, mentor them, teach them, and we've just always been good friends. So as soon as that opening was available, it was the first phone call I made. Um, and luckily for me, he was excited about it. And I
How
think,
can you not be? To be the
well, yeah.
face of Auto Geek and work with you, I'm like,
Well,
dude,
and
what
it's
a
also
huge
with a new
opportunity.
facility too. There's a lot going
yes,
on there, which is
yes,
really a cool transition. We were talking
yes.
about it, looking at the Facebook post the last time you guys posted the new facility. I'm like, that is an awesome opportunity because it's like all brand new, right? Everything. And
Fresh canvas for us, for everybody. It's
yeah,
a good fresh canvas.
So, talking about a fresh canvas, I'd like to hear what your vision for 22 is and what Justin's is, and how mainly how he's going to execute on your vision, because I know it's joint vision, but it started with you.
So we definitely are pushing education just a little further this year. We want to not to only just have one trainer. We're looking to possibly bring in another trainer or two. We
Nice.
want to make sure that we're giving out as much education as we possibly can this year. For us, we always say education sells. So that's kind of our business platform. As long as we provide the education to everybody, we feel like that, the rest will take care of
Yeah.
itself. And, I think is we just keep doing that, and we're off to a great start. We've never had a class sell out as quickly as our first boot camp is, and I think that says a lot for Justin coming on board. And we had a lot of new partners that decided to come on board this year with us for the boot camp too. So we're pretty excited. I think this year's something like we're really smiling big, and we're coming off of a move which we weren't smiling so big, packing all those boxes. So
No.
we're really in a good place right now, and I can't tell you like how excited the whole family is that we have Justin on board.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Justin?
Megan. I gotta follow that.
Yes, you do.
As far as the vision, obviously it's something that I want to engage with the direction that they're going, the education, like she mentioned. Um, I just feel like the scope of what AutoGeek has been doing was very successful, and there's been other ideas brought to the table with now me joining forces and us being a team to where we could capitalize on other areas that weren't focused on as much in the earlier years. Which there's a time and place for everything, right?
Yes.
The reputation of AutoGeek being built in the early 2000s all the way up to now to where it is, the powerhouse that it is, and then the show car garage style detailing, which was amazing,
Yes.
Yeah.
right? Second to none kind of scenario. So with that, we want to take that same formula, but just jazz it up. Start focusing on the business side of detailing and also interior and other areas, for that when it comes to the training and education. But I think overall, like Megan was saying, it's relationships built. Being able to bring something to the table that's a little different for the networking aspect of being able to work with everybody comfortably in the industry and being friends with a lot of them, but also running and operating my own business and bringing that to the table
Yes.
and still being an operator as I do the training.
Yeah.
So as they leave training and I leave training, we're all going back to the same atmosphere, dealing with the same customer.
Yeah, and on that note, you are. I mean, I would say not just a owner. You're an entrepreneur. You're in many different things, and we've watched you. Since we met you, go from somebody that was leasing a space to somebody that owned 3 times the space to somebody that brought in 2 new lines of business and then opened up your restaurant. I mean, you are just blown up in the last 6 years. So how was that decision making process for you going to this next step and going in with Autogeek? Was that
Time.
yeah.
So a lot of people, I mean, there's compensation for time. There's how you go about things. You could be a rep to a company. You could be on payroll with the company. But realistically, as you get more involved with things, the only currency is time.
Yep.
So understanding what that looked like and framing that up through conversations of what the demand of my time would be based on the stuff I enjoy already, which was a no-brainer, obviously, and working with Autogeek, I mean, that's another no-brainer. But looking at that and understanding what the demands were and what I had to meet in regards to what their expectations were. And to me, I looked at it as something that was like, wow, there's a lot of stuff I enjoy doing with them already, and this is just that much more. And so looking at the time I had available and the time that was demanded from me, it was a good fit. So for that, it allowed me to be able to comfortably move forward, knowing that I can meet and or exceed expectations for them.
Yeah.
Because this is an investment for me. They put me
Yeah.
forward, but I'm an investment for them, and I have to also make sure they get that return.
Right. It's a
Not in
mutually
sales, but as the bigger picture, the branding, the whole
Yes.
aspect of their vision, and giving that back.
yeah, it's that mutually beneficial for both parties.
Yes.
And I think that's for anybody in a business, that is the key to having a good partner. It's not about a financial thing as much as it's mutually beneficial. It may be time, it may be money, it may be training, it may be knowledge, but you have to have that mutually beneficial agreement.
I think
So-
that's why it works so well with me and Megan too, is because we see things in a different perspective for our industry. And I say ours, meaning all of us, but we see things as a partnership and working together as a team and making, being a blunt force of that team and owning, the brand and who we are, knowing what we can do with that.
Yeah.
And now it's just like, hey, let's do this. Let's kill it.
Yeah, I'm really excited about it, and it's my whole mantra as I've come into 2022 is we as a business, I as a professional, I want to have an impact on your business. Whether it's with our podcasts or consulting with people or using our software. My goal is to impact your business so that it ripples across every aspect of your life. And I love, and I think back kind of as I've watched you. I mean, and I told you this, I think you are one of the best IDA presidents we've ever had. I mean, hands down, in my opinion. And it's because you brought such a passion for elevating people. And I think one of the challenges, and you're going to see Rod and I very focused, like you guys are, on training this year, being involved in training, showing up, promoting it, because we feel that it is such a critical part of people's business. But a lot of people miss the individual training that they need to do for themselves. And that's the thing that I've really seen you do, Justin, is like you have doubled and tripled down on, and that has put you in a place to be not only a respected name, a respected brand, but somebody that's approachable, that can say, dude, man, I've really been struggling that. And that makes Autogeek an even more approachable brand and a trusted brand. And I think that's real what I'm seeing and excited about this kind of partnership.
I see that as a challenge in the detailing industry because there's a lot of egos, but there's also a lot of people that are afraid to admit when they don't know something, and they may not be the big cocky person, but they might see somebody like Justin or Rennie Doyle or, anybody that they think is non-approachable. And I mean, I can tell anybody out there, Justin is one of the softest trainers, and I mean that in a good way. Like correction is not like a you freaking idiot. It's like, hey, push a little harder here, smaller box, do this, where your tone of voice doesn't change, right? And I think a lot of people are concerned that if I admit I don't know something, I got something to prove. I'm gonna have a chip on my shoulder, and that's not how it is. It's a learning thing. If I go into a training, and we've been through several one-day trainings at your shop or in different facilities around the world, you got to accept that you're there to learn something, and man, drop all the ego and just soak it in, man. You're a sponge, soak in as much as you can. And it doesn't matter if it's somebody this Megan or Jody or Justin, or you're going to pick something up from somebody. I told this story about when we were at the Rupes Training Center, and you, Little Mark, both the Parker brothers, Prentice St. Clair,
Rose.
You got Jason Rose, you got Dylan. I mean, all these people around me, and I got a polisher. It's the first time I've ever had a Rupes in my hand. And we're on the hood of a black Honda, and my brain was like, the amount of sheer knowledge that's around you, somebody is going to get in your face. And there was not one word. There was one time somebody lit up, and little Mark reached down, put his finger on the polisher, and just said, a little more pressure. And that's it. And that's all it took. That's the training. It's not about sitting there and having Jason pound on you, Justin pound on you, like, you need this, you need this, you need this. It's small correction here, little bit there, and you've done the same thing. We've been on Air Force One, and it's refreshing. That's what I would say. Your training style is very refreshing. So I was really excited when you guys announced the new partnership. I was like, that's a perfect fit. That's an absolute perfect fit.
Thank you. It's one of those things too for me. It's a pinch myself moment because I've, as a detailer, as somebody who operates a shop, getting into detailing in 2008. There wasn't a lot of resources.
Yeah.
Autogeek was primarily the only resource, and you had other videos out there, McGuire's and a few other brands that created some good content. But the real rich stuff was from Autogeek.
Yeah.
And being able to look back at that and going from like being the detailer behind the computer, watching this stuff, practicing it, trying to execute it, offer it as a service to my first detail fest, to be like, oh my God, all these detailer celebrities, which I don't even think that was a term then. To working my way up and working for different brands and just getting to this point, it's still like a wow. This is really cool. But it's the opportunities and the relationships along the way, and making sure that everybody I've worked with, Buff and Shine, Autogeek, PNS, whether it was monetary or not, just helping put them forward because I had a belief in their brand and their brand culture and everything they brought to the table.
No, that's exciting.
And it makes it that much easier to do anything with them as a partnership at that point.
Absolutely.
Right,
it's like when you believe in it, it's easy to stand side by side or with somebody. So, well, we're excited to see what's happening. You've already sold out the first one. So when's the next one?
We got a boat class coming up in March, if I'm correct. March. So
okay, so March boat class. Where's that going to be?
Where do you think, Buff? I'm sorry, it's gonna be at Autogeek.
Yeah,
it's gonna be at my shop. I don't know. We're gonna do remote locations.
There you go. No,
that was tried once. That's a very difficult thing to execute. A lot of turning wheels in that one. No, it will be at the new Autogeek facility, and that one we're having. I'll be hosting it, and we'll have Nathan Warren. We'll have Andre. How do you say Andre Hill? Heil. That's what it is. I'm sorry. I always mess that up. That's why I always ask people first when I get on podcasts, how do you say your name? Is this how you say your name? Okay. That way it'll look like a fool. Yeah. And I don't know, we might have a special guest or two. We haven't quite.
That's awesome.
We're as we move, we want to change the game with it,
Yeah.
We have creative people that really know what they're doing in-house, and we also have some of the greatest trainers that we can partner up with, such as like Rennie Doyle and people like that could give us and help the vision that we're trying to establish.
That's awesome. Well,
and the nice part about that is you guys are just trying to elevate the industry, right? I mean, I think people need to realize the training is to elevate everyone, because if you're doing it, then you're going to use better products and better tools, and you're going to elevate the whole industry to where it's already accepted and it's already awesome, but it can be always better.
So we have the boat class in March, and then in September we'll be having another boot camp. And so for that, they could go on to the autogeek.com and look up training, and it will give a list as they're active for those dates and how much and everything that's involved with what's included with the training.
Yeah, that's super fun. Well, we want to thank you guys for taking a few minutes, and we want to be respectful because you guys are so popular and in demand. So,
Thank you.
guys, please go connect with Autogeek. I'm sure you've heard about them. I mean, they're just a small name in the industry. And, of course, just a mom and pop and Justin Labato. I mean, both these guys and gals, are really invested in helping you grow your business. So go get connected, come to the training, and maybe we'll see you there too. So, but
Could be.
anyway, you guys have a great day, and we'll check you tomorrow at live from Mobile Tech Expo.
See
See
ya.
ya.